So let's just return for a moment to our quality baseline, that of constructive alignment. You've got course materials that we call topics. They're connected to active learning exercises, which are supported by formative feedback, and both of those map perfectly to your learning outcomes and the major assessments. Now, in a perfect world, previously we had 13 weeks where we organised the course materials using topics, which were matched to active learning exercises and supported by the provision of formative feedback. The transition we face is not as easy as saying, why not just collapse our 13 weeks to 11? Because when we do that, we most likely will create an imbalance of content. Doing this may well reduce the degree of constructive alignment possible, meaning too little space for active learning and appropriate formative feedback. Now, the best way to approach this challenge is to reorganise our topics to our reduced weeks, and we can do this using the process of chunking. You'll notice on this diagram, you'll notice the little red numbers, and they're the steps that we would follow to ensure that we've chunked our course materials. So we would start by making sure that our program learning outcomes are appropriate. We would make sure that we've constructed sound course learning outcomes. We would, at the third step, use appropriate methods of assessment. These three steps may not change a great deal at all as a result of going through this transition process. But then we need to identify the core ideas, content, and convert them into topics. So at this point, we may have some topics which are combined. We may have some topics which drop out because ultimately they're not directly related to our assessment tasks. Step 5, we need to develop learning goals for each of our topics. Step 6, develop and present the key content for each topic. That's like your lecture material. And lastly, we need to make sure that we develop our active learning strategies for each topic and the related formative feedback processes. So, if you're already in this world and it really is a matter of reorganizing your topics, just hit the proceed button and you'll find the right pathway forward. If you're not, as you proceed, you'll find an alternative pathway.